That's not something we want to see in this assembly. But what is that man saying? He's saying that this man is an apostate. He's saying that this man, because he believes in the Trinity, is a polytheist. And then he shouts, Allah Akbar, 2 or 3 times. And the man takes that knife. And it takes 2 minutes. I watched the video before I came here to prepare for this meeting. It takes 2 minutes for that man's head to be sliced off. He picks up the head and sits it on the back of the decapitated corpse and celebrates the victory. He holds it up into the air. Then you go back to the commentator on Egypt Today, and to his credit, this moderate Muslim commentator says, is this Islam? What does this have to do with Islam? And he is scolding, condemning this execution. And I'm here to say, as media, and particularly Christian media, we must tell these stories. We must speak out and speak up. Some don't agree with this approach. But when racists in the South were lynching black Americans, we saw and we heard songs about strange fruit, and it made a difference. When Emmett Till was brutally beaten, his mother insisted on an open casket because the pictures make a difference. When the Nazis were committing genocide in Germany, General Eisenhower insisted on bringing in the cameras and showing those newsreels in American theaters because the pictures make a difference. And I'm saying to you, when someone who grows up in any religious tradition hears that Jesus was a great teacher, a great miracle worker, and the Son of God, and that he died for their sins on the cross, and he rose again, and they believe in him, and they love him, and they trust him, they should not have their head cut off. They should not be stoned. Their houses and their churches should not be burned. And when they are, we must speak up and tell these stories. And if a moderate Muslim broadcaster can tell that story, American media can tell that story, and certainly Christian media must tell these stories. And so I want to say that the NRB Board of Directors this year, representing 100 key Christian evangelical media ministries, unanimously passed a resolution in February urging the President and the Secretary of State to actively advocate to the international community the principles of the First Amendment and to urge the adoption of similar standards in the rest of the world. I will not be silent in face of this persecution, and we call on our fellow Christian leaders across the United States to take their stand against it as well. Thank you.